My name is Dakota Bundesman, and today we're going to be looking at a study that covers foam rolling and its effects on delayed onset muscle soreness, which is a type of muscle strain that follows exercise and usually causes fatigue and soreness that can last up to 7 days. So we're specifically going to focus on how the recovery aspect following dynamic performance is affected by foam rolling. So some ideas as to why we get DOMS include lactic acid, inflammation, connective tissue damage, enzyme influx, muscle damage, and muscle spasms. Because of the nature of these theories, we can generalize some possible solutions. So far, what has been proven, anti-inflammatories and massaging do have a positive effect in reducing DOMS. However, cryotherapy, stretching, homeopathy, and electrical current modalities have demonstrated little to no effect on DOMS. The main purpose of this study aims to determine the effects of self-induced massage via foam rolling as a recovery tool. If proved useful, we can utilize foam rolling to increase muscle strength, recovery rate, and joint proprioception. This experiment consisted of 8 male university students who were volunteers. They were doing a set group of exercises, and there was, of course, a study group and a control group, and these tests were repeated immediately following exercise, 24 hours, 48 hours, and 72 hours. The researchers used a repeated design measure to test 5 muscle groups: the quadriceps, adductors, hamstrings, IT band, and gluteal muscles. They tested 5 factors, and in order to quantify the effects of DMS, they used these test measures. So to measure the pressure pain threshold, they use a quadricep probe, which measures muscle tenderness. And in order to measure sprint speed, they did a series of 30-meter sprints. For power, they used a broad jump, a series of those as well. Change of direction speed was measured during using a t-test at max effort. And then for dynamic strength endurance, they used squats at 70% of the person's max effort, which they had determined earlier. They decided to do the dynamic strength endurance test last because the fatigue caused from it would adversely affect the other trials. So again, right after exercise, they had the subjects foam roll, and then they had them foam roll at 24 hours, 48, and 72. They were also tested on performances at this point. So, for our data and results, only one of our factors is not measured by performance. Pressure pain threshold aims to measure muscle tenderness. The moderate decrease we see at 72 hours suggests that foam rolling was very beneficial at 24 and 48 hours following exercise. DOMS has great effects on performances during sprinting, broad jump, and the squats. Change of direction speed, however, was also affected, but just moderately. And once we introduced the foam rolling to see if it had any effect on DOMS and performance, we see that it had little to no effect on the sprints and change of direction speed. However, it did greatly affect the broad jump, and interestingly enough, only benefited back squat performance at 48 hours. So as we discuss this, we can compare it to other findings, and our results did match up with other studies. So one of the studies suggested that massage is beneficial for reducing DOMS pain. And another one found that warm underwater jet massage lowered the negative effects that DOMS has on jumping power. And as far as we go as limitations and applications, there was some discrepancy in how foam rolling affected each of our measures individually. We also had a small sample number. And as far as goes applying, they suggested that athletes competing in short durations of rest would benefit the most from foam rolling. Now, if people were to explore this in the future, as far as foam rolling goes, frequency of foam rolling, if you should do it once a day, twice a day, should be explored. The importance of the intensity of the foam rolling, how much weight is being applied to the foam roller from the patient, and the effectiveness of the time period. So it's 24 hours, 48, 72, which is the most important time period that you want to be executing this foam roll. And the type of rolling as well is also going to affect our results. So main takeaways from this: why do we foam roll? There's a lot of good reasons. It's obviously affordable, time efficient, it's relatively easy to perform, easy to instruct, and overall it enhances muscular recovery. So people who are going to benefit this are definitely athletes. We can assume that athletes are usually training multiple days in a row. And anybody who's completing any sort of multi-joint dynamic movements. And anyone who just wants to avoid the negative effects that DOMS has on performance. And the best part of the presentation, the bibliography. Thank you.